Ding. Lady Colin Campbell said that Princess Diana played a role, pretending to be the kind of person that she thought he would want in order to manipulate Charles into. Yes and no. The manipulation was much more in order to please her sisters or the females around in her family. Yeah. So it was more like the manipulation initially, it didn't come from her wanting to manipulate so much as wanting to fulfill the role that women around her were telling her to do. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. Um okay, next question. Did Charles ever love Diana or did he really feel forced to marry her? He didn't want to. I mean, we've read in the newspapers, right? He didn't want to, but he felt like it would be a good idea. So, kind of like almost like a fairy tale type of energy, like anime, like a fairy tale type of energy. Like we might match. Yeah, yeah. So he was equally as naive as her, even more naive actually than her. Yeah, because she was much more mature emotionally than he was, even at that time, at that age. What was the real reason or reasons for Diana and Charles's divorce? And did Diana really get $15 million in the divorce settlement? She got a lot more than that. Yeah, so much more. Yeah, she got a lot more than that, than 15 million. The real reason or reasons for the divorce, what has been told, yeah, what has been told. From Camilla, I mean, to the jealousy and the immaturity. Um, Diana, again, she was one of those people who, so these two cards here pretty much signifying that energy they went into the marriage with, both her and especially Charles, like a fairy tale type of energy. It meant, contrary to what I've explained earlier on about how they within the communities, right, or the environment, they don't really consider cheating as much to be cheating. It was different for Charles and Diana. Why? Because this is the energy they went in with, a sort of fairy tale type of energy. Had they gone with a much clearer mind and been told, Diana especially been told that this is the way things are. I mean, she was told, but not in those terms. It was pretty much like, if you do your job well, if you do well, he's going to respect you and he won't step out, pretty much. Or like, he won't need a second person, right? As opposed to letting her know that whether you do well or not, he will go that way because that's where his heart is. And it's nothing to do with you, but that's just the way it is. Had she been told that, she would have gotten it. And there would have actually been no problem at all because they actually matched Charles and Diana when it could, because I mean, for these two cards to come out kind of like this, like out of this type of energy in the deck is very much a kind of rarity. They're both silly in the illusions, is the energy I'm getting. Silly in the illusions. They're dreamers, both of them. Dreamers. Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of what bonded them together. So yeah, the real reasons I've just answered it. Yeah. Um, I read somewhere one time that Prince Philip extended some kindnesses, like writing, yeah, towards Diana after her divorce from Charles. Yes, it is. It's true. Yeah, there are pictures of the letters online. Uh, if so, what motivated Prince? He did. Okay, yeah. So Charles, Prince Philip, Diana, dreamers, and that dreamers energy in contrast with the harsh reality, the harsh like fighting spirit, fighting energy of the of the royal life. Um, it's such a contrast that the members in the royal family who have this energy, they like to stick together. They like to stick together. They're like, so with, Philip, for example, it was like one down. If one of them dies, they stick together even more, kind of thing. So for him, he'd seen a lot in the community, and I'm saying community because that's what it really feels like, almost like a coven within the royal family. If one of them passed away, Philip. So what I'm saying, he definitely saw the rarity in Diana, in having a fellow dreamer. Yeah. When I say dreamer, I mean like hope. Hope that things are not as bad as they seem. They can always be made better. There's always hope to improve things. The public will always understand. We don't need to go to these lengths to deceive the public. Yeah, type of energy. Which is one of the reasons why, I mean, as much as people do not like Charles, he's actually different from William. William absolutely does not have this dreamer spirit. When it comes to, or when it came to his marriage, William, especially in the beginning, like getting married, I mean, to Catherine, he absolutely had this dreamer spirit, but not anymore. Certainly not when it comes to now that like the marriage has grown and also the children are growing up, right, becoming adults, less dependent on his what he can do for them, his benevolence. He's severing this dreamer spirit. But when it comes to Prince Philip, he very much had it. And so he's like, we've got to stick together. We've got to stick together. Um, and what I was saying about Charles and William, for example, like Charles would be, as much as people do not like him, he would be less likely to lie to the public just because he's very much like, well, I am who I am. So there's that hope that the public might actually understand who he is. Like him or hate him, they would understand. So that's his mindset. Well, they might dislike me, but at least they know what I'm made of, and what my mind is about, what I think. Yeah, that's his mindset. That's the mindset of these dreamers. Yeah, yeah. Unlike William, who is much more like looks at the public mood and then acts accordingly. Yeah. Did Princess Diana practice any type of magic or ritual? She did, along with the royals, um, in order to make and continue to make the world fall so deeply in love with her. To make the world fall in love with her, yes and no. The dreamer spirit is what made the world fall in love with her. So it's like it was inbuilt. Yeah, it was inbuilt. But it doesn't mean she didn't cultivate it. Like she did a lot of charity to cultivate this dreamer spirit. Yeah. Um, but in terms of rituals, absolutely as well. But the rituals were tied to the royals. It wasn't without the royal family's approval and participation. Like they were part, it's basically part of the rituals of the royals to make people fall in love with them, which is why people might say that she broke free from the royal family and that they were separate, but they were not. I mean, it's like Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, which I said before, at least in the early stages. Now, not anymore. They've actually broken sort of apart. But before, and also with Diana, they were still part of it. As much as it seems like they argue in public, but in private, they still get their lifestyles supported financially. They still get all sorts of benefits. So it's like they're still part of the club. They haven't been kicked out as much as it seems like they have. Yeah. And one of the reasons that's because the royals do not like breaking free from these dreamers. Yeah, these dreaming spirits, except when it becomes more inconvenient, like it eventually became with Diana. Yeah. So they used her a lot to get the world to fall in love with them and then with her. But she was still tied to them. So that's why it kept working on her. Let me see. Was Princess Diana in love with and pregnant by Dodi Al-Fayed before they died in the car accident? Or was Diana just passing the time with Dodi and didn't plan on having any kind of serious relationship with him? Again, yes and no. There's very much like dual energy. It's like Her spirit doesn't want to be lied about. The pregnancy wasn't for him. It was more like she was trying to, but not with him in the picture. It was a wish of hers, not of him and her. Yeah. So I don't see her just passing the time with him, but at the same time, she didn't know what to do. She didn't know what to do. Yeah. She was just passing time with herself for herself, but not necessarily using him. Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty much like going along with the flow and hope, almost being hopeful that it would work in the end. Yeah. So I wouldn't say that she planned on having anything serious. Neither would I say that she was just playing. She really wasn't. It was more like to escape from this circle, to escape from the circle. That was the royals. Yeah, we can see. Or the royal life and scrutiny. It was reported that Princess Diana's last words were, "My God, what's happened?" Did Princess Diana realize that she was murdered? She did, she did. Even before, it's like, some people, seconds before they pass, they can tell that something is about to happen. Kind of like that. Yeah. Um, yeah, yeah. Do William and Harry respect or fully know what really caused the death? They do, they do. They don't really care because they're aware of what death is. Like, it doesn't exist, not to them, not to them. They're really highly spiritual, so they don't know what it's about. Yeah. So they're aware, they're aware. Do William and Harry have a close relationship with Diana's family? Yeah, but it's like a tormented relationship. It's like, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? Yeah. Give and take, like materialistic, heavily, violently materialistic. I mean, I know that's like something weird to say, violently materialistic, but it really means if there's no money or influence incoming, then there's no point continuing with the relationship. Pretty much, it's that violent. Yeah. So it's as close as can be. They do understand each other, but Diana is not who keeps them together. It's this mutually beneficial relationship. What would Princess Diana have thought about Catherine and Meghan as wives for their sons? She would have loved them. But I mean, what I know that what I've said before, that Diana wouldn't like Meghan, not the Meghan who first came into the royal family, because a lot of things have changed since then. And a lot of people, including the royal family supporters, have proven hypocritical. I mean, even to the point where those same people saying Diana wouldn't have liked Meghan are the same people who would support things being done to Harry by the media that Diana wouldn't have supported. But those people are supporting it. So it's like there's a whole bunch of hypocrisy, like a cloud of hypocrisy going around. But what I do see presently, simply because it's like she's thinking Meghan has taken the fight to the media. Um, Diana still loves the royal family. I don't know if you've asked that in your questions, but she still loves the royal family, Diana. So it's like she doesn't really want the fight to go to the royals, which is what Meghan was doing before, sort of like with the disrespect and all of that. But she does appreciate that Meghan hasn't backed down when it comes to the media. So, in saying all of this, it might seem strange because it's Harry who has been at the front recently, going to the media, the tribunal, right? But it's Meghan pushing him to it. Otherwise, he would just let it go. He would let it go. He would be willing to receive and accept monetary compensation, like £1 million or something, 2 million, right? From these newspaper organizations and then give it to charity. He's really not as bothered as Meghan, who is pushing him, is to go at war with the media. So Diana really likes that. Yeah, at this point. So yeah, what she would have thought of them, that they are. She also, in the same vein, really with the same energy, um, liked them equally now, presently. Because so like I just said, Megan taking the fight to the media, and Catherine being at home for the children. Yeah, that's what she would have loved. Um, or what she loves and appreciates. I'm kind of speaking in different tenses because obviously Diana's spirit is very much alive to me as I'm reading. So it doesn't really seem different from her being dead. Yeah. Is it really true that Queen Elizabeth II died from bone cancer? I don't see that. I mean, like, no, no, no. Like it was reported by the media, or did she really die from something else? Um, I didn't see bone cancer when I was reading into her passing over a year ago. Overexertion, too much activity in the spiritual, yeah. Yeah. So when I say too much activity, like, yeah, so like again, like a carriage, trying to make things appear normal. So like it takes a lot of energy to make things, to keep things normal than allow them. Because if someone doesn't work to burn, like her, to burn up evidence of the wrongdoings, then there is going to be chaos and the House of Windsor is going to be brought down, right? So to keep this floating, to keep it going, it requires a lot of energy to keep it going so that it would look almost as if nobody is driving it, and oh, the royal family is respected, and that's why it's been going on for this long. To keep it going like that, it requires a lot of input in the background, which is what she did, and then overexertion. Yeah. Okay, I'll continue in the next video.